of late, so he has the quality to make those changes, Mikel Arteta.
Well, we're about to get underway. Later on, of course, Wales, England will have commentary here on 5 Live. There has been a try, though. Italy, Ireland. Conor McNamara.
Closing stages of the first half in Rome. Italy 10, Ireland 24 now. Mac Hansen has run in Ireland's 4th try of this first half. Italy struggling with Ireland's rapid recycling at the breakdown. The conversion from Ross Byrne is wide, so he's only had 2 out of the 4. It's Italy 10, Ireland 24.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. We are underway here at the King Power Stadium. I noticed last night there was a tribute to Ukraine ahead of the game between Fulham and Wolves, where Fulham football stands together. There hasn't been anything here today, but Arteta is sporting a Ukrainian pin badge on his black jacket as he stands up already in his technical area alongside Brendan Rodgers, as Arsenal in this first half in their red and white shirts are playing from left to right. And here is Ødegaard, who straight away has an effort on the edge of the area, left-footed, couldn't keep it down, over the top. So Arsenal in their red and white from left to right. Leicester City in their all royal blue are playing from right to left as we sit here just left of the halfway line in the King Power Stadium. And in the far quadrant, the section filled entirely with the Arsenal support that has travelled up from North London, hoping to see their side extend their lead, albeit by a few hours, to 5 points above Manchester City, whose travelling support down to Bournemouth for a 4th successive away game, and they're at Bristol City in midweek. That will test the pockets of even the most ardent Manchester City supporter. And we'll have commentary of that game on Sports Extra because of the rugby, where we're heading as soon as this game is finished. 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app as White plays the ball to Jorginho, and now it's with Gabriel out to Martinelli, who's come just short of the halfway line, back inside to Zinchenko, the inverted left back if you like. There is that fluency about Arsenal even in these early stages, Danny.
Yeah, early possession, controlling possession, as you say there, Dano. Zinchenko played in midfield already, inverted, looking to control things in there, just looking to overload in those midfield areas, and this will be the pattern all afternoon. I think Arsenal kind of dominating possession and Leicester trying to keep a decent shape and then looking to kind of spring on the counter-attack.
Jorginho out to Ødegaard. Quickly tracked by Dewsbury Hall, but he passes the ball inside to Saka. And now joining the attack is Xhaka, and his cross on the half volley cleared away by Fas. Arsenal are going to pick it up, though. That was Trossard back towards Zinchenko. There is a real purpose about Arsenal's play in the opening 2.5 minutes. Xhaka left corner of the area, and it's cleared away by Harry Souttar, the Australian international, who's settled in quite quickly after his £15 million move from Stoke City. The referee is Craig Pawson. He's given a free kick to Arsenal, but only 3 minutes in here on BBC Radio 5 Live, but certainly Arsenal have seen a lot of the ball in these early stages. Zinchenko with that free kick out towards Saka, who waited for it to reach him, but the blonde left back, the young Danish defender Victor Christensen, with the interception. But Arsenal already have won it back with Ødegaard, and now Gabriel plays it forward, and Zinchenko, who's predominantly playing in midfield at this, he's just vacated his left back spot, out to Martinelli, back in again to Zinchenko. But such is the dominance, they're able to get what is that extra body essentially in the midfield.
Yeah, they are. And with Zinchenko playing that role this season, inverted, it's just freed up Granit Xhaka. You know, you see him playing a lot more advanced further forward. He's started to add a couple of goals to his game this season, and from a Leicester point of view, it's who kind of picks Zinchenko up. He just goes into that kind of area just off the back of Iheanacho and in front of those Leicester midfielders, and he's just in lots of time and space, and he's able to kind of dictate the play.
Arsenal with Saliba on the edge of his area, just getting a return ball from Jorginho, who passed it back into his own half for Gabriel. First opportunity for Leicester City now just to come out and try and press Arsenal, but Jorginho across towards White on this near side. White over the halfway line. Saka is ahead of him, Lincoln City leading Forest Green by 1-0 as the ball is out with Xhaka in front of him in the penalty area, sends over the cross, quickly blocked, behind it goes for a corner kick.
Yeah, brilliant football from Arsenal. It all started with what we were talking about, Zinchenko picking the ball up deep. There's a little triangle played around Dennis Pratt. It's almost a 3v1 situation where Martinelli's come central, Zinchenko in that midfield area, and they just work their way up the field, and eventually it's Xhaka who gets free on the left hand side 18-yard box, and he's looking to fire a ball across the 6-yard box. It's well defended in the end, but lovely slick football from Arsenal there.
Such a crowded penalty area as I look away towards our right hand side now, with the exception of Saka and Jorginho on the edge of the area. Everybody else is in the box, and there's where it goes now. It's headed out at the near post by Ndidi, comes out only as far as Saka. Crying out for the ball is Trossard, and he receives it. Infield now to Zinchenko. The cross, though, was quickly blocked by Wilfred Ndidi, but Zinchenko will run back to retrieve it to keep it in play for Arsenal. Quite a high line now by Leicester City as they push up in the all-royal blue. But it is Arsenal at the minute who are just seeing all of the ball. Yeah,
they're just recycling possession. Then when they do turn the ball over, then Leicester, all they're able to do really is clear their lines already, and Nacho is kind of isolated, and they're just dominating the ball. It's just wave after wave at the minute.
Zinchenko in field, Ødegaard quickly sweeps it across towards Saka. Saka enters the penalty area. Saka cutting inside now, goes for the curling effort. That took a deflection and then cleared away by Castagnet, but it just keeps coming back at Leicester.
Yeah, very much kind of 10 men behind the ball for Leicester. Iheanacho's just up there on his own, and when they do win the ball back, Leicester, they've got to be a little bit cuter with the clearances. The ball's forward, otherwise the ball's just going to come straight back.
Saka goes in for a bouncing ball and a challenge with Christensen. Now it's with Ødegaard with his back to goal. The referee Craig Porton almost gets in the way, actually bent his body quite well, and then there's the ball from Zinchenko, goes into Xhaka, it's away from him, and it runs through for a goal kick. Goal at Turf Moor, it's top against bottom. Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 1, Huddersfield 0. Ball played through from the edge of the area. Barnes with the flick. Did he get enough of a touch to make it his? We'll wait and see, but Barnes definitely involved on the 6-yard line. Ball went through, and Burnley lead Huddersfield 1-0.
They continue to fly at the top of the Championship. 13 unbeaten Burnley. Neil Warnock, who won his first game in charge of Huddersfield last week, was certainly praising Burnley to the hilt in midweek as Leicester City are attacking, and it's with Iheanacho who tried to make headway in towards the penalty area, but Arsenal have cleared it away through Jorginho, and now the ball is switched but actually is blocked, and it comes back out towards that far side for Leicester City. Infield now to Tete, to Dewsbury Hall, who waits. And then Leicester City with Fast forward to Dewsbury Hall, able to turn 30 yards from goal, can't thread it through. Half time in the rugby, Italy-Ireland, Conor McNamara.
And Italy have got another try. Italy 17, Ireland 24. Pierre Bruno has made the scoreline very respectable at the break as the whistle is blown, and Ireland were attacking the Italian 22, but the winger intercepted. There was no stopping him as he ran 2/3 of the length of the pitch to score. So 2 Italian tries in the first half, both converted. This is very similar to England's performance against England 2 weeks ago. Bruno with the latest try. Italy 17, Ireland 24.
Second half commentary will be on Sports Extra. It remains 0-0 here in the football. Xhaka. And later on after this football, we will of course be having commentary of Wales against England, and then the second half of Bournemouth-Manchester City will be on 5 Live. The first half you can find on Sports Extra. Saka tries to wriggle away from Christensen. Ball won back by Ødegaard in the midfield, and now it's with Zinchenko, who looks to turn inside the centre circle. White's got forward on this near side, the right. Jorginho will pass the ball out to White, and he's got time maybe to pick his spot. He plays the ball inside to Saka. At the minute, they're playing in front of this Leicester City side who get a foot into the challenge, and there's been a goal in that bottom of the table clash in the Scottish Premiership. Gavin Wallace.
1 Dundee United 0. Jack Newman, the goalkeeper, coming out and not sure what he was trying to do at all. Eamon Brophy, though, tenacious as he could be, and on the left hand side he chipped it in from the edge of the box for a tight angle finish. Ross County 1, Dundee United 0.
Swindon 1, Harrogate 0 is a latest score in League 2. Let's get the latest news from Kempton. John Hunt.
The Coral Trophy handicap chase has just been won by Our Power, an 11-2 chance ridden by Sam Twiston Davis. Great ride too, trained by Sam Thomas in Cardiff, just outpointing Phlegmatic, the two of them involved in a great finish. And good old Frodon Ian, a valiant third under a massive weight, Bryony Frost on board him.
Thank you, John. We'll be back for news of the Dovecot Novices hurdle at 3:40, 0-0. Iheanacho, forward ball. Tete, right side of the penalty area. Tete looking for a sight of goal. He was shepherded out very, very well by Gabriel, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, much better spell from Leicester City, though. Just one or two occasions where they've been able to win the ball back in midfield and break quickly. Excellent defending there from Gabriel, who's been outstanding alongside Saliba for Arsenal this season. Recognises Tete's left foot, doesn't allow him to come inside onto his left foot, shows him down the line, and a really well-timed tackle, so well-timed he actually ends up getting the goal kick, plays it back off Tete.
Portsmouth are leading Cheltenham by 1-0 in League One. Also in that division, it's Bolton 0, Port Vale 1, and Swindon are leading Harrogate Town by 1-0 in League Two. Goal at Stoke City now, Charlie Slater.
Stoke 0, Millwall 1, 10 minutes on the clock. Stoke had a man down on the halfway line. Millwall didn't care. Zion Fleming picking it up, running with it about 40 yards and curling a right-footed shot into the bottom left-hand corner of the goalkeeper's net. Millwall a goal up here.
Ball out towards that left-hand side. Zinchenko waits. Back it goes towards Xhaka. Xhaka for the league leaders. Now to Zinchenko, looking to turn. Left corner of the area. Feeds it out towards the far side. Ball delivered in low. Almost came towards Martinelli. Leicester City will clear. Goal at the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
Are behind. A splendid goal by West Brom, made by Wallace. Crafty low cross. Daryl DK side-footed. Here's another chance. And he scored again. DK gets the second goal. Stefan in the Borough Geek goal could not handle it, could not hold on to it. DK kept going. He scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 0.
The goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. And there's been another one. This time it's in our featured game in League One. Flo Pollock.
Sheffield Wednesday take the lead. A lovely move, and it fell at the feet of Liam Palmer in the box. He passed it into the corner. Charlton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Shot comes in from Trossard. That was blocked by Farce, who dropped to his knee. Newport 0, Sutton United 1 is the latest score in League Two. Arsenal have certainly had the better of possession in these opening 12 minutes. Sheffield Wednesday then leading at Charlton, looking to extend their unbeaten run to 20 games. As Xhaka, forward of the centre circle, out towards Martinelli on the left-hand side, links up with Zinchenko. The interception, though, from Tete for Leicester. Jorginho tries to win it back, doesn't succeed, and running the ball out of defence now, and almost stumbling as well as he did so, was Dennis Pratt. But now they've worked it to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall with the cross, headed away well by Gabriel. It's going to be picked up, though, by Tete. He'll keep the ball in play for Leicester City, level the penalty area on that far side, the right. No other goals to tell you about. Leicester City go back to the centre circle. We'll go to West Ham. John Southall.
West Ham 0, Forest 0, but Paqueta for West Ham, right of the area. His shot deflected off Felipe onto the post, and also we had a minute's applause before kick-off for Bobby Moore, who died 30 years ago today. West Ham 0, Forest 0.
Everton Aston Villa, Will Perry. Unable to get
Watkins one-on-one. A red card check we had as well for Onana's challenge on Luis. It ended up just a yellow, and Iwobi's first time shot deflected off Digne into the hands of Martinez. Everton 0, Villa 0.
Cheers, Will. Leeds United, Southampton, of course, is a vital game down at the bottom. We're watching the leaders, though, here. Ødegaard to Xhaka, edge of the area, tries to thread it through to Martinelli, making that run in the inside left channel of the penalty area. They'll be brought away by Dennis Pratt. Complains about the lack of movement ahead of him from Iheanacho. And it goes out of play for a Leicester throw. Danny Gabidon.
Yeah, the only real man in front of him. Dennis Pratt just looking for a pass there, but sometimes in those situations you just got to hold on to the ball. Much better from Leicester. A little bit of a foothold in the game now. When they do win the ball back, ball retention is going to be key, or that first pass needs to be really accurate. If they can break the press of Arsenal and catch them with bodies up the field, then they're capable of causing Arsenal issues. But at the minute, Arsenal dominating possession and very quick when they turn the ball over to go and press and win the ball back.
That's the voice of the former Welsh international, Danny Gabidon, who's with us here for BBC Radio 5 Live. We welcome listeners for the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company. Reading 1, Blackpool 0, Fleetwood 1, Morecambe 0, two latest scores in the Championship and League One respectively. And down at the bottom of the Premier League at Ellen Road, watching Leeds United Southampton, is Maz Faruqi.
Still goalless. Javi Glacier applauded all four stands as he came out here ahead of kickoff at Ellen Road. Leeds started quite well. Bamford with a header wide after Nonto crossing the left, but Southampton building into it now. Leeds 0, Southampton 0.
I think his first game in charge of Watford was against Southampton in an FA Cup tie that Southampton won by a 1-0. Certainly Leeds United will hope that they get that bounce after his appointment, without a win in 10 in the Premier League. Gareth Ainsworth is the new manager of Queen's Park Rangers. He's taking his time today watching Blackburn Rovers for his first game in charge. Katie Smith.
And it's not the start he would have wanted. QPR 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Dolan with the initial shot, took a deflection up into the air and into the path of Gallagher, who headed it home. QPR 0, Blackburn 1.
Arsenal are on the attack left-hand side. Martinelli back inside to Zinchenko. 30 yards out from goal. Zinchenko runs forward. The little flick where Trossard reaches Martinelli, who tries to scoop it into the inside right channel of the penalty area towards Saka, but there was too much curl on it and it runs away from him and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it wasn't really a difficult pass to Martinelli. Nice intricate play centrally from Arsenal. Martinelli just moving into a central area. Saka's free out on our right hand side and he just overhits the ball to him. Opportunity missed.
We'll be getting news of a second goal from Gavin Wallace soon, but Ross County are now leading Dundee United in that game at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership by 2-0. So Dundee United now will find themselves 4 points adrift at the bottom as Pratt makes the run forward over on that far side the right and gets Leicester City a throw under the grey skies here in the East Midlands, almost in front of that travelling support of Arsenal from the North London on that far side. And Iheanacho controls the ball level with the penalty area. Back heel couldn't get it through towards Castagnet. Souttar plays it forward. Tete and Iheanacho scramble for it, and then Iheanacho actually gives away a free kick. So as promised, here's Gavin with news of that second goal for Ross County.
Yandanda on the edge of the 18-yard after 14 minutes. Eamon Brophy with a lovely little layoff. Yandanda flicks it up with the outside of his left foot and blasts it home with his right beyond Jack Newman. Ross County 2, Dundee United 0.
Crawley 0, Carlisle United 1. Carlisle third in League Two have just taken the lead. Arsenal had a breakaway there whilst we were with Gavin, and it was with Saka, who's just won a corner kick.
Yeah, brilliant ball in behind Christensen from Jorginho. Saka's just driving into the 18-yard box. He just gets crowded out. Souttar coming across with a good challenge.
So corner kick on this near side the right. And it's taken short. Ødegaard to Saka. Jorginho, first time cross edge of the area. Kneed away by Christensen, the Danish left back for Leicester City. Kept in play on that far side. Back in field to White. And now the cross is hoisted over by Trossard. Gabriel has actually stayed forward, has kept the ball in play. He's played it back towards Saka. There was a slip there by Ndidi, and then Saka went for the curler off his left foot. Just couldn't find the bend. There's been another goal at Turf Moor. Lee Blakeman.
Burnley have got it again. Burnley 2, Huddersfield 0. Through ball, put in at the back post by Connor Roberts. Burnley cruising, deservedly 2-0 up.
Peterborough 1, Plymouth 0 is the latest score from London Road in League One. I think it's fair to say, with Burnley cantering clear at the top of the Championship, that they're going to make an immediate return, don't you?
I think it's done. I think it's done.
I mean, they are relentless.
Unbelievable, to be fair. I think new manager coming in, Vincent Kompany, and the players that have kind of left, players that have come in, change of style as well. Fantastic job he's done it.
Martinelli with a cross, left-hand side, and Saka at the far post. Goes behind for a corner, will quickly nip to Charlie Slater at Stoke.
Stoke 0, Millwall 1. Stoke thought they were level, though. Jacob Brown turning the ball into the back of the net from close range. Linesman's flag was up, rightly so. Still 1-0 to Millwall.
Exeter 1, Cambridge 0 is the latest score in League One. So the corner kick for Arsenal, still 0-0 by the way, 19 minutes played. World Service and 5 Live here at the King Power. And Arsenal in their red and white shirts have a corner kick on this near side the right, playing from left to right as we look, as it's taken short. Ødegaard to the edge of the area. Trossard waited for it, hit it first time. Martinelli softly goes down under hardly any sort of a challenge in the penalty area. Headed forward by Jorginho, headed up rather than away, and it's a bouncing ball that hasn't been dealt with, and in fact fast goes to ground and is adjudged to have been fouled by Martinelli.
Well, he's thankful. He really is. It's a poor header from Castagna. I think he's in two minds as the ball is headed back from Jorginho. It's looping up in the air. It's coming down. I think he's thinking, do I head that back to the goalkeeper? I think he sees Martinelli in his eye line and then puts his centre half in danger there, and Fast does really well. He just gets his kind of body in and just draws the foul.
Christensen waits to take the throw for Leicester City on this near side. 20 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow 5 Live Sport comes live from Wembley ahead of the League Cup final. Commentary from Newcastle United, Manchester United at 4:30. But before that, we have the London derby of Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea, which gets underway at 1:30. This is our usual Saturday commentary with the goal service as well. And Arsenal at the minute have seen a lot more of the ball, but it just can't create that one opportunity to test Danny Ward in that Leicester City goal. And it remains goalless at Ellen Road and at West Ham, and indeed at Goodison Park between Everton and Aston Villa. Here is Ødegaard. Ødegaard drifts in field. White goes on the overlap on this near side, the right. Runs into a central area with the ball at his feet. Gabriel joins the attack. Xhaka comes short. Zinchenko forward ball to Ødegaard. Ødegaard now finds Saka inside the penalty area. Saka with the, well, it was a cross that was always drifting away, never posing any problem to Ward.
Well, almost a cross shot in the end from Saka. He's been wasteful with his opportunities so far. The end product from him hasn't quite been there. It's lovely football again from Arsenal, working the ball from left to right, eventually finding Saka down the side of the 18-yard box, just drags it onto his right foot, and it's almost a cross shot in the end. He's trying to dink it towards that far post, not able to pick anybody out.
Bolton have equalised at home to Port Vale. Bolton Wanderers 1, Port Vale 1. As the ball goes long for Leicester City, Tete gives chase, and Mansfield 0, Salford 1 in League 2, and Peterborough have got a second at home to second place Plymouth Argyle. Peterborough 2, Plymouth 0, so Sheffield Wednesday could be going clear at the top as they lead away from home. Here is Zinchenko, back to Martinelli on the edge of the area. Martinelli to Jorginho, Jorginho to Ødegaard, the little flick towards Saka didn't quite come off, and it was read by Victor Christensen to clear away for Leicester City. At Fratton Park, Portsmouth 2, Cheltenham 0. The goals as they go in on 5 Live, and we're going to nip to Ellen Road and Maz Faruqi.
Still goalless, very nervy here at Ellen Road. Chances just wide of the left-hand post at both ends. First Stuart Armstrong for Southampton, and then Aronson for Leeds at the other end. Southampton 0 here at Leeds.
Zinchenko, forward ball. Now it's with Trossard, turns. Good footwork, gets it out towards Saka, brings it under control. Right side of the penalty area. White plays it in first time, claimed by Danny Ward. We'll get an update from West Ham. John Southall.
West Ham 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Chance apiece. Gibbs White for Forest, edge of the area. Plenty of time straight at Fabianski. Then Danny Ings, a header a couple of minutes ago, 6 yards out. Got it all wrong. 0-0.
It was a long punt downfield by Danny Ward. Gabriel's running out towards the right touchline on that far side for Arsenal. Bounced off his chest, out of play for a throw. And just when you're thinking that Leicester are struggling to get out of their own half, now they've been presented with exactly that opportunity.
Yeah, that's been the only way they've really got out of their half so far in this first half, where Danny Ward's gone from back to front. Iheanacho just chasing a lost cause there, just forces the mistake from Gabriel. Allows Leicester a little bit of breathing space there.
And now Arsenal have got the ball back. They will look to build from the back. Saliba runs forward along the ground. White is able to run onto that ball just in from the touchline. Hoists over the cross. Might have been a bit of movement in the air. It just seemed to go away from Castagna at the last moment. Rolled back to Zinchenko, edge of the area. Almost got Xhaka through in the inside left channel of the penalty area. And Didi though now to Sutar. Up it goes to Tete, high off the chest, lays it off to Dewsbury Hall. That's better from Leicester City. And now Harvey Barnes is sent away. But Saliba comes across. And despite the fact there was a bobbling ball for the central defender, his clearance to Dewsbury Hall, and then Gabriel clears on his edge of his area, and Mikel Arteta applauds the way that his Arsenal defence had dealt with that. To Goodison Park, Everton Villa, Will Perry.
Everton 0, Villa 0. Digne with a free kick over the bar against his old team. A good battle escalating between Cash and McNeil down the Everton left. And in other news, a pigeon has just done its business on me high from the Goodison roof. Everton 0, Villa 0.
Oh, how unfortunate. Although they say it's a sign of good luck. Do they not? Here is Saka. Martinelli on the edge of the area, can't thread it through. Picked up though by Xhaka on the run. His cross takes a deflection. Christensen was in a central area, 8 yards out from his own goal to clear for Leicester City. Arsenal though keep picking up this second ball. Here is Jorginho. Zinchenko picks out Martinelli, and Martinelli in between two Leicester players runs to the left side of the area, back towards Xhaka. Jorginho almost got him white. Leicester City are having to defend very, very alertly. It's gone behind for a corner. We'll quickly get news of a goal at Queen's Park Rangers. Katie Smith.
It's the equaliser. QPR 1, Blackburn 1. It had been coming, slotted home by the teenager Tim Arogbenham, and leather jacket cladded Gareth Ainsworth running up the touchline in celebration. Is 1-1 here.
Barnsley lead Derby County at Oakwell by 1-0. Salford have got a second at Field Mill in League 2. Mansfield Town 0, Salford City 2. The corner kick then on this near side. 26 minutes played. Corner kick that Saka is going to take for Arsenal. It's left-footed, it's curling, it's clawed away by an outstretched arm by Ward. Comes out to Trossard on the edge of the area. Brilliant goal by Leandro Trossard. Fired it in like an arrow. Top right-hand corner. And Arsenal take the lead, 1-0.
You can't say the goal hasn't been coming. Incessant pressure from Arsenal right from the get-go, really. Danny Ward just demonstrating with the referee Craig Pawson. He's asking for a foul as that corner comes in. He's not able to get enough on the punch, but I'm just looking at Leicester City and their reaction off the punch, and there's not enough men really on the edge of the 18-yard box. Arsenal have 2 or 3 guys there. The punch kind of drops down to Xhaka, and he just sets the ball back to Trossard on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's able to get the ball out of his feet, and he just whips it into that far corner. It's an outstanding finish. But Leicester, they don't quite react quick enough, because Pratt actually goes to close Xhaka down first, doesn't get there. Then he's the man who has to go again to Trossard on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's not quite able to get there, and that is an outstanding finish. Just whips it into that far corner.
Now VAR are having a check. Oh no. So clearly Michael Salisbury at Stockley Park has said to Craig Pawson, you need to look at this. Now, unless my eyes deceive me, I didn't think there was a foul on Danny Ward.
There's contact on him, but there's a lot of bodies in that kind of 6-yard box. I think it's Ben White who's closest Ben White to him, yeah.
But Ben White, or is Ben White? This will be.
He's holding his right arm possibly there as he goes to punch with his left. He's just grabbing his right hand. I think VAR might see that, Deno, and chalk this one off.
Do you think that the game's becoming too forensic?
A little bit, yeah.
That VAR. Here's the decision. Craig Pawson's just told Mikel Arteta. He's just told Mikel Arteta the reason why. The goal has been disallowed. There was a foul from Ben White. I always thought that VAR was introduced for the glaring errors. Now you might say there is a foul in there, but we're looking for the minute details now. We're looking for reasons to take away from the game.
Yeah, and that's not what VAR should be about. I do think that is a foul. I think that impedes the goalkeeper. He's not able to get the right punch on that. He's clever from Ben White. Maybe not so clever now as VAR, because if you say that, they do look at absolutely everything. But he is holding his right hand, and that impedes the goalkeeper and stops him from punching the ball or jumping in the correct way that he wants to.
Listen, you're the expert. You think it's the correct decision?
Look, I'm happily retired sat here. I would hate being a player having to deal with VAR and how they're just looking into every kind of minute detail, but I do think that was a foul for me personally.
Well, listen, that's what you're here for, with your expert opinion. But I just sometimes it just just feels as if it takes away from more than it gives VAR.
If that was on an outfield player, he might have got away with that. I think it's because it's the goalkeeper and he needs to use his hands. Maybe that's why the foul's given as well, but he's literally just holding his right hand there, and it does impede the goalkeeper from probably jumping in the way that he wants to and getting the right purchase on the punch.
Well, in the meantime, MK Dons 0, Ipswich 1, Crawley 0, Carlisle 3, Portsmouth 3, Cheltenham 0, Bolton 2, Port Vale 1, and in the Championship at Deepdale, Preston North End, without a win in 6 at home, have fallen behind to Wigan Athletic, who are still unbeaten since Sean Maloney took charge. Preston 0, Wigan 1, and Arsenal have to deal with the disappointment. Because of the rugby, there is no sports report tonight, so all of the reaction you'll hear from Mikel Arteta. That's offside against Iheanacho. Flag stays down. Iheanacho runs forward. Iheanacho goes on to score, and now the flag is raised. And he was at least a yard offside. I could see it to the naked eye. We'll go to Will Perry at Goodison.
To 0, Villa 0, best chance of the game, a huge one for Everton, a Wobie corner, Mope header from 6 yards, a foot wide, glanced, one Premier League goal in 27 games for Mope. Everton 0, Villa 0.
They'll check it, of course, but he was offside, wasn't he, Danny?
2 yards offside. He just plays it too early, Tete. He gets himself into a really good pocket of space, gets turned, and he can actually drive forward with the ball and wait for Iheanacho to get back on side. It's a good defensive line held by Arsenal, but Tete just releasing the ball a bit too early. He needs to realise that his teammates not level there with that Arsenal back line.
Steve Round still in the ear of the fourth official, Robert Jones, down below, no doubt griping about that goal that was disallowed. Trossard now finds Martinelli. Martinelli left corner of the area. It remains then 0-0 after the leaders had that goal chalked off. Martinelli now towards Jorginho. Jorginho to White. White with the cross. Now Saka's gone down inside the penalty area. Arteta screaming for a penalty. The Arsenal players want a penalty. Here is White. It'll be checked as a matter of course at Stockley Park. You can guarantee that. Here is White to Saka. Ødegaard. Ødegaard has the shot blocked. And I would imagine already that the fourth official, Michael Salisbury, has told Craig Pawson about this. But in the meantime, as alongside the paying spectators, you then just got to wait, watch and wait.
Yeah, definite contact for me. Suter's caught the wrong side as that ball's whipped in. And he just panics a little bit, arms around Saka. It's clumsy as well. He almost catches the back of his heels, brings him down. Don't think it's intentional with the clip of the heels possibly, but he is all over him, arms around him. Saka goes down. He's not able then to go and attack that cross. This will be an interesting one.
Well, the fact that the free kick has already been taken,
not given,
can only imagine that the VAR has told referee Craig Pawson that there was nothing to look at.
He's a lucky boy there.
He is lucky. Had that been given, you wouldn't have had any complaints. And now a free kick goes in favour of Arsenal just outside the centre circle. We'll go back to Will Perry at Goodison.
Tell you about that.
Yes, we will. Sorry, Will.
Well, I've got nothing. You were just with me, Denner, but that was a huge chance for Neil Mope, as I mentioned. The Iwobi corner. Everton piling on the pressure here. Goodison is roaring as Iwobi comes forward again. Here's a cross onto the penalty spot. It's well cleared by Matty Cash. 0-0.
We'll go, though, to Lee Blakeman at Burnley.
Burnley have a third. Burnley 3, Huddersfield 0. Brownhill tap in, 6 yards out. Far too easy. Burnley 3, Huddersfield 0.
At times, I think I leave my producer Claire in despair back in the studio, because the instruction was quite clear to go to Goodison. What possessed me to go to Will when Lee patiently was waiting? But it is a Saturday afternoon, and anybody who listens on a regular basis will know that every now and again it can just be a little bit disjointed.
I think VAR's got you flustered here.
Yeah. But actually, we need to go back to Stockley Park just to make sure that I went to the right place. You're right, Danny. Anyway, it's 0-0 here. We got 11 minutes to go to half-time. Saliba to White. So I would imagine, I'm looking forward to listening to the 5 Live Daily podcast for the thoughts of Mikel Arteta on VAR. I'm not too sure whether Claire's winding me up now, but she's just said I've got to go back to Will Perry.
Definitely come back to me for this one. Still 0-0, but another huge Everton chance. This one from cross from the left-hand side. Anana inside the 6-yard box. Excellent Martinez save behind for a corner. Goalless at Goodison.
What would have been amusing is that if I'd have then gone to Lee Blakeman at Turf Moor. I think he should have walked out of the studio in disgust. Here is Zinchenko, just over the halfway line. So goalless at Goodison, 0-0 between Leeds United and Southampton, and still no goals between West Ham and Nottingham Forest. Mind you, we had something similar last week, and then all of a sudden it picked up in the second half. Arteta waving his arms around in that black puffer jacket of his. Shrewsbury 1, Wickham 0. Norwich lead Cardiff City by a 0-0. White cushioned forward ball into the penalty area for Saka with his back to goal. Back out towards White on the right hand side. Saka on the stretch as well to control it. And ball played then to Jorginho. White was taken out off the ball there by Christensen. And Hartlepool 0, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League Two. They sacked Keith Curle on Thursday, and John Askey was appointed to his first game at Victoria Park, and they are behind. Here is Zinchenko on the edge of the area, out to Martinelli, left hand side. Martinelli waits, Martinelli down towards the byline, cuts back again, still waits to deliver the ball. Martinelli teasing, and then to Jorginho, who in the end is crowded out, and Dewsbury Hall takes it off his toes, and all of a sudden there's a counter-attack. It's 4 against 3. The Royal Blue Shirts are going forward. Dewsbury Hall to Iheanacho, right corner of the penalty area. Arsenal quickly get the red and white shirts back, and that opportunity of the counter was snuffed out by the league leaders.
Yeah, possibly just went the wrong way. Dewsbury Hall with the pass.
Here is Barnes. Barnes enters the penalty area with the cross. Tete can't control it. Martinelli will run the ball clear for Arsenal. Let's get an update in the rugby. Conor McNamara. We can't hear from Conor, but I can tell you that Italy-Ireland is on Sports Extra. Wales-England. Commentary of that in the Six Nations will follow the football here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Then we'll have second half of Bournemouth, Manchester City, and then it'll be 6:06 at around 7:30. We've got under 9 minutes to go to half time. 0-0. Zinchenko turns and clears. Ball headed on by Pratt to Iheanacho. Gabriel puts it up into the air, and out it goes for a throw. And actually Iheanacho has stayed down, and referee Craig Pawson's reacted very, very quickly there. I think he's got a blow to the face.
Yeah, just looked like one off the ball. Limited opportunities Leicester have had with the ball. Opportunities to counter-attack, haven't been good enough with the first pass, or haven't completed the attack with a shot or a cross. Just a stray boot there, Deno, from Gabriel into the face of Iheanacho as he's clearing the ball there.
Craig Pawson's just checking on Iheanacho, and he's okay to continue. So it's a throw for Leicester on the right hand side. Barnsley have got a second goal at home to Derby County in League One. 2-0 it is now at Oakwell. Cross comes in from the right hand side over the head of Barnes. Arsenal will be able to clear, and we've re-established connection with Conor McNamara.
Yes, 15 minutes played since half-time at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. Italy 17, Ireland 24. Ireland have dominated possession since the break, but the Italian defence has stood very, very firm. The Italians who got 2 converted tries in the first half and are still in this. 55 minutes played, an Italian penalty to come here. That could be another 3 for now. Italy 17, Ireland 24.
Second place, Plymouth have got a goal back. Peterborough 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Norwich City are now leading Cardiff City by 2-0. They had won their last 2 home games under David Wagner. They're now looking to make it 3, and they're 2-0 up at Carrow Road. In fact, it's Marquinhos who's on loan from Arsenal who's got that goal. Free kick though, meanwhile, 7 minutes to go to half time, and it's a free kick to Leicester City. It's midway through the Arsenal half, and they've sent everybody into the Arsenal half. Everybody is forward bar Christensen, who's just loitering about 6 yards away from the centre circle. So Pratt to take it. Arsenal have got that line just outside the penalty area. Harvey Barnes has also wandered over as well. He will leave it. It's Pratt to take it. Diagonal ball floated over towards Suter. Downward header. Flag was up on the far side. Free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, he can't be offside there. Harry Suter's just positioned himself on that far post. An opportunity for Leicester to service the box. We saw the issues that Everton gave Arsenal from set pieces, and the ball just float to that far post, and he never gets himself back on side in time. Suter actually wins the header as well, nods it back into a good area.
Derby County have lost only one of their last 18, and they've now got a goal back at Oakwell. Barnsley 2, Derby County 1. Here is Saliba outside the centre circle. BBC Radio 5 live in the World Service. You can also listen on BBC Sounds should you so wish. And the league leaders, who've got an excellent record. They've won their last 4 encounters with Leicester City, and indeed their last 3 visits to Leicester, they've been won by each with a 2-goal margin. They thought they'd taken the lead. They're now at 0-0, but with a downward header from Fars, they've just been awarded a corner kick of Arsenal, and Trossard's going to take it.
Yeah, nervy defending again from Leicester City, but still 0-0, 40 minutes gone, so Brendan Rodgers will be pleased that they haven't capitulated defensively. Leicester have been runnable all season long, fragile, but they haven't seen a lot of the ball, but Danny Ward hasn't had too much to do either, so...
Well, the corner's going to come in from that far side, the left. It's in towards the near post, and Martinelli tried just a stupefaction with a little flick header, and it didn't come off. It struck him on the front of his head and went straight behind for a goal kick. We're going to go to Ellen Road. Maz Faruqi.
No, great chance for Leeds though in the last couple of seconds. Southampton able to scramble it clear. Earlier, Aronson saw a header 4 yards out, blocked by his teammate Harrison's face. How's your luck when you're down at the bottom? Leeds 0, Southampton 0.
Looks like it's going to be sounds like a thriller in the rugby. Commentary on Sports Extra. Italy 20, Ireland 24 is a latest score from Rome. Mansfield 1, Salford 2, Crawley 0, Carlisle 4. Crawley without a win in 9 and struggling, and certainly struggling in that first half against Paul Simpson's side. Jorginho turns midway through his own half, finds White on this near side. Saka, they've doubled up on Saka. Arteta is complaining vociferously to referee Craig Pawson, who tells him to calm down. And now the unenviable task of the fourth official is to have a word in Arteta, who continues to chunter away.
Still flustered as well from the VAR decision. I think obviously got that one against Brentford as well, which kind of cost them 3 points, and just wanting the foul on Saka there as the ball was played into his feet.
Zinchenko's given the ball away straight at Dewsbury Hall, so Arsenal need to be wary of the counter-attack. Dewsbury Hall didn't really have too many ahead of him. He finds Harvey Barnes on this near side, the left. Swindon have got a second goal at home to Harrogate. Swindon Town 2, Harrogate Town 0 in League 2. Leicester City go back, 3 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 live. It remains goalless at Goodison, Ellen Road, the London Stadium, West Ham United, Nottingham Forest, and here at the King Power. As Saka to Zinchenko. Zinchenko, forward ball, finds Saka, takes out 2 Leicester players in the process. Ødegaard opens it up to Martinelli. Good play by Arsenal. Martinelli in the penalty area, and Martinelli left-footed fires from a tight angle wide. Goal kick 0-0.
I think he's going for goal there, but he's never going to score from that angle. Brilliant again from Arsenal. All their best work has been done when they've been able to kind of move the ball quickly into wide areas. This time it's out to Martinelli. Takes it past Castagna, and then, well, yeah, he just gets it all wrong. I think he's just trying to fire a shot across the 6-yard box, and it just slices off the outside of his foot. But looks the best avenue for Arsenal when they can get it, move it quickly into wide areas, into Martinelli and Saka, and just catch that Leicester City backline really narrow.
Because the thing is as well, Danny, is that aside from the goal that was disallowed, and Arsenal have seen more of the ball from Leicester, they actually haven't created too many clear-cut opportunities.
No, they haven't. I think for the amount of dominance, the amount of ball that Arsenal have had, I think Mikel Arteta will be a little bit disappointed with the end product. Saka a little bit on his right-hand side as well, has gotten some good positions down the side of the 18-yard box. It's just been that kind of final ball. The end product hasn't quite been there yet.
Martinelli inside to Xhaka. Xhaka with a curling ball just below knee height, bypasses Jorginho. Saliba takes control, forward then to White, who switches play from the right back out to Martinelli, and whilst it's in mid-flight he's got time to acknowledge the pass from White. Back then to Zinchenko, forward, Xhaka, Martinelli as they rotate in that trio on that far side, the left. We're about to enter the last 60 seconds of normal time in the first half, and it remains goalless here on a chilly afternoon in Leicester. Jorginho floats the ball forward, Zinchenko plays it short, first time. Trossard with his back to goal, edge of the area, move breaks down. Up towards Iheanacho, tried to get him away early, did Leicester City. But Saliba and Gabriel had that situation under control. Exeter City 2, Cambridge 0 is the latest score in League 2, and you're up to date as Saka. Arsenal get a free kick. Let's get an update in the rugby. Conor McNamara.
An hour played. Italy 20, Ireland 24. Ireland finding it hard to shake off the Italians. They thought they had lengthened their lead. Bundyaki going over, but he fumbled it, spotted by the TMO. And Italy, who've only ever had one win over Ireland in the Six Nations, and that was 10 years ago, are within a try of the lead here. 20 minutes to play. Italy 20, Ireland 24.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Ødegaard then to take this free kick for Arsenal, and we're about to find out how much stoppage time there will be. It's a good 15 yards in from the right touchline, and there's going to be 2 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Aberdeen 1, Livingston 0, incidentally, is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and Colchester 0, Northampton 1. As Ødegaard with the free kick wraps it in. There's a lot of challenges off the ball. It was Christensen who actually went to ground, and it curled all the way through towards Ward, and again didn't really pose Leicester a problem, Danny.
Didn't, just over-whip the ball in from Ødegaard. I think Christensen doing a good blocking job central area of the 18-yard box, and comes to nothing in the end. A lot of possession Arsenal, but not enough clear-cut chances. A lot of their football's kind of been played in front of Leicester. They almost need to suck Leicester out a little bit and almost catch Leicester on the counter-attack. They haven't really been able to do that. There's been a lot of Leicester bodies behind the ball, and Arsenal are looking to manoeuvre the ball left to right, right to left, but they haven't really been able to find an opening yet.
Jorginho's hit a ball through that Saka's unable to control. The nature of the first half is that Leicester City have spent a lot of it containing Arsenal, as Iheanacho plays it forward to Harvey Barnes, and it runs all the way through to Ramsdale. But there hasn't really been too much to get the Leicester City supporters excited. It's felt quite subdued.
Yeah, it has, because just of the way Leicester have kind of set up. They're quite happy to allow Arsenal have the ball, not really looking to press high up the pitch, and that's allowed Arsenal to get an early foothold in the game. Ooh, Martinelli's in behind here.
Yeah, Martinelli putting pressure on Fast. Ward came to the edge of his area. Fast's clearance has been kept in play by Trossard. Now this is Xhaka. We're in stoppage time of the first half. Jorginho joins the attack. Ødegaard on the edge of the area. Dewsbury Hall is tracking him. Ball is chipped out by Jorginho. White won't keep that ball in play. It'll go out of play for a throw to Leicester City.
Yeah, what Leicester have done in this first half is kind of what I thought Brendan Rodgers might do or change to second half against Manchester United, and we didn't really see it. I thought it was so open, and then they got picked apart second half, but you'll be delighted to go in at half time at 0-0 here, because they've been dominated.
Well, it is half time and it is goalless, and that's only because of the Trossard goal after 26 minutes, which found the top right hand corner was ruled out from VAR. Still, Arsenal are protesting about that to referee Craig Pawson as they leave the field. It's half time, Leicester City 0, Arsenal 0.
On that decision, okay, either of you here, Ben White did have hold of Danny Ward's arm when you look at the replay, but only by looking at the replay. And I thought they weren't trying to re-referee games now.
I'm with you.
And if they are looking at the Ben White Danny Ward one, okay,
then why not look at the penalty?
Then why not look at the Saka one?
I'm with you.
That's what that's why it's infuriating, because it just hurts your head trying to work out their logic.
There's no consistency with it, chappers, really, is there? You don't know what you're going to get from one game to the next. Now, you know, the Danny Ward one, for me, you know, he might have wanted to use his right hand to punch it. He wasn't able to. I think that probably is a foul. As you say, though, they kind of look at it and then they say, okay, foul, and then you have to kind of give it. But then you look at the Saka one, you know, Sua's caught the wrong side, his arms are around him, he actually catches the back of his heels as well, and then they don't even really look at it. So, you know, where's the consistency with it? I really don't get it. And like I said to Deno, I'm just happy that I'm not playing the game anymore, to be honest with you, because it would infuriate the life out of me, you know, week in, week out.
I can understand the Arsenal players questioning the referee at the end of that half. Can't you?
Well, I'm sure they will.
Well, they did, didn't they? As they went off, they did.
Yeah, I mean, I just find the whole thing so frustrating, because I think at the end of the day it's spoiling it as a spectacle, and then you'll get people in favour, well, it was the right decision, and it might have been the right decision, but he's still got something on it for a start, and Leicester, Danny actually said at the time, Leicester didn't deal with the ball at the edge of the area for Trossard, and then it's the lack of consistency about that they didn't even look at the penalty.
I know.
I just find the whole thing frustrating.
I filled time there because partly it's confusing and partly because every single Premier League game is 0-0. So here we go again. It's exactly like it was last week. We'll go round all the Premier League games shortly, but on the stroke of half-time there has been a goal in the Championship, and it's come at QPR. Katie Smith.
Yeah, QPR 1, Blackburn 2. The away side back in front. A nice 1-2 down the right-hand side of the box. Smodics playing it under the keeper, nestling into the back of the net. QPR, though, have been on top, looking for their first league win since December the 17th. They trail at half-time.
Match of the day, 10:30 tonight on BBC One. As it stands, they haven't got a single goal to show you. Leeds Southampton, Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, 0-0 here, and they might have a new manager, Leeds, but it's the same old story. Plenty of possession in the opposition half, but nothing in the back of the net. In fact, there's been just the one shot on target for each side. A Bamford looping high strike, easily gathered by Bazunu for Leeds. He was also involved in a bit of a goalmouth scramble, Bamford, just before half-time, when Southampton were eventually able to clear their area. At the other end, Anuichi had Meslier worrying about a strike from distance, but in truth it didn't have too much power, and earlier Aronson saw a header which looked goal-bound, blocked by his teammate's face. Jack Harrison in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's probably been the most exciting thing that's happened this half. Goalless at Ellen Road.
How are the locals, John Southall?
Well, no booze at half-time, which is a plus I'd have thought for David Moyes, but it is West Ham 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Not a great surprise, this one's 0-0. West Ham have seen a lot of the ball, 10 corners they've had in the first half, but haven't created enough from them. They've had the best chance. Paqueta's shot from the right of the area deflected off Felipe onto the base of the left post. One shot on target. Felipe also blocked a Danny Ings effort. Forest, well, Fabianski tipped over a tame Felipe header, and Gibbs White should have done better from the edge of the area. Half-time, 0-0.
Devante Cole's just got his second of the afternoon, 10 for the season now, and Barnsley are 3-1 up at home to a Derby side who have only lost once in their last 18. Statman Davis just tweeted, this is the first time this season that all 3 o'clock games are goalless at the break. Will Perry.
This isn't the worst 0-0, to be fair. Everton 0, Villa 0. and Nana's close range header tipped over the bar brilliantly by Martinez. Mopé should have scored from a corner but could only glance his header wide. He then hit another good chance straight at the keeper, and Iwobi saw his effort well blocked. Pickford at the other end did really well to deny Watkins one-on-one, and we had a second-minute red card check here for Nana's challenge on Luis, which ended up just a yellow. Everton 0, Villa 0.
Thank you very much. 5:30 it's Bournemouth Manchester City. 7:45 it's Crystal Palace against Liverpool. The early game in the Championship went the way of Coventry. They beat Sunderland by 2-1. The leaders are cruising. Lee Blakeman.
Yeah, no contest. Burnley have played Huddersfield off the pitch. 3-0 Burnley lead. It should be more. Some dispute over the scorer of the first, Zaroury or Barnes, but eventually it was credited to Barnes, who looked like he got a faint touch on it. Roberts tapped in the second. Brownhill easily finished off the third. Huddersfield, not a single shot on target. Burnley 3, Huddersfield 0.
Back to the 0-0s. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, goalless at the break. A really dry first half, Mark. Limited final third action from both. Keenan Davis header from a Ken Sema free kick has been the best chance of the entire contest so far. Iliman Ndiaye has put a shot over for United. You should have heard the groans when they announced 5 minutes of added on time at the break. Sheffield United 0, Watford 0.
But the good news for Sheffield United is that third place Middlesbrough are behind. Pat Murphy.
They're 2-0 down to West Brom, who are good value for this. 2 goals in 2 minutes early on from Daryl Dike. The second one a mistake by the Borough keeper Stefan. After that, a couple of chances to Marcus Forss for Middlesbrough, but brilliantly saved on one occasion by Griffith, the young keeper. They're hitting him on the counter-attack, West Brom, and they're looking dangerous. West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 0.
Fourth place Blackburn are 2-1 up at QPR. Fifth place Millwall, who've lost just one of their last 6, are ahead again at the break. Charlie Slater.
They are indeed. They lead at Stoke by a goal to 0. The visitors scoring 9 minutes in after picking up the ball on the halfway line. Stoke had a man down injured. Millwall paid no mind. Fleming raced away. He calmly steered the ball home from 18 yards. Stoke have been wasteful. Bag full of chances. The best falling to Dwight Gale. Fresh air shots all round. They've also had a goal disallowed for offside. Half-time, Stoke 0, Millwall 1.
We're at St Andrews as well, where 6th place Luton are Birmingham's visitors. Shojo Saka.
Yeah, Birmingham 0, Luton 0. Luton should should be ahead though, but for some really poor finishing. Elijah Adebayo headed over from 8 yards. Jordan Clark fell over his own feet trying to shoot. Scott Hogan's missed Birmingham's best opportunity at the other end, heading wide. Birmingham 0, Luton 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, it's goalless between Bristol City and Hull. Norwich lead Cardiff by 2-0. Wigan under Sean Maloney, bottom of the table but unbeaten under him, are ahead at the break at Preston thanks to a Greg Cunningham own goal. Preston 0, Wigan 1. Reading lead Blackpool by 1-0 thanks to Tom Ince's 8th of the season. They've won just one of their last 8, have Reading, but they are ahead at the break. Let's go into League One, where earlier it finished Oxford 0, Bristol Rovers 3. We're with the leaders Sheffield Wednesday at Charlton. Flo Pollock.
Sheffield Wednesday lead Charlton by 1-0. Liam Palmer, the goal scorer, coolly passing the ball into the net after Charlton were cut apart. It's very comfortable for the League One leaders. At the break, Charlton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Cracking game at Oakwell, where 2 from Devontae Cole, which has taken him to 10 for the season, and 1 for Adam Phillips, which has taken him to 8 for the season, lead Derby by 3 goals. So no surprise that David McGoldrick, the Derby top scorer, got their goal, 17 for the season for him. Bolton have come from a goal down to lead Port Vale 2-1 at the break. Goalless between Burton and Accrington. Exeter 1, Cambridge 0. Fleetwood, who've won 3 of their last 4, they're in good form and they lead again at the break to Scott Brown's side by 1-0 against Morecambe. Forest Green Rovers 0, Lincoln 1. Ben House with an early goal there for Lincoln, 9 for the season for him. Ipswich, who are in third, haven't won in their last 6 away, but they lead at the break at MK Dons by 1-0. Peterborough lead Plymouth by 2 goals. Johnson Clark Harris got one of Peterborough's goals. He's now on 19 for the season. Portsmouth 3, Cheltenham 0. And Shrewsbury lead Wickham, who of course under new management, Matt Bloomfield returning to the club to replace Gareth Ainsworth, but it's Shrewsbury 1, Wickham 0. Into League 2, and the game we are at, Stevenage against Tranmere. Jonathan Ledyard.
Not a hint of a goal in the Hertfordshire sunshine. Possession of plenty for Stevenage, but League 2's best home team haven't even tested Tranmere's oldest ever player, 41-year-old keeper Joe Murphy. Rovers limited, but they have only one shot on target, Josh Hawke's dribbler from 18 yards. With Carlisle winning at Crawley, Steve Evans will absolutely demand better in the second half. We all will. Stevenage slipping to third, 0-0.
And Carlisle are winning by some at Crawley as well. They lead by 4-0 at the break. Elsewhere, goalless between Barrow and Stockport. Northampton, who've lost just one of their last 5, they're in good form, and they lead at Colchester by 1-0. It's goalless between Crewe and bottom of the table Rochdale, Doncaster and Bradford City, and Gillingham and AFC Wimbledon. The leaders Leyton Orient are ahead at the break at Grimsby. They lead by 1-0. Walsall are 1-0 up at Hartlepool. Hartlepool, who now have John Askey in charge, but they trail at the break thanks to Tom Knowles' 4th of the season for Mickey Flynn's men. Mansfield 1, Salford 2, Newport 0, Sutton 1, Stevenage 0, Tranmere 0, as Jonathan was telling us, and it's Swindon 2, Harrogate 0 at the break. In the National League, Altrincham 3, Solihull Moors 1, Barnet 1, Aldershot 0, Borehamwood 0, Scunthorpe 0. Chesterfield are behind at home to Oldham by 1-0. Goalless between Eastleigh and Bromley. FC Halifax 0, Maidenhead 1, Maidstone 0, Gateshead 1, Torquay 0, Southend 1. Woking are a goal up at home to Wealdstone. Wrexham lead Dorking by 2-0. And as they approach the break, York are 1-0 up at home to Yeovil. The tea time game in the National League, leaders Notts County at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. Into the Scottish Premiership, Gavin Wallace is watching bottom of the table Dundee United at Ross County.
Ross County 2, Dundee United 0, Mark, and a quick fire start for the Staggies as the home side cruising at half time. The former Scotland striker Eamon Brophy opened the scoring at 7 minutes on the angle. He scored from 18 yards as the goalkeeper came rushing out his box. Defender slid in, Brophy chipped it over the top goal. Second one came just 7 minutes later. Jan Danda with a lovely little flick on the edge of the box, and he blasted beyond the United keeper. Ross County 2, Dundee United 0.
Aberdeen lead Livingston by 1-0. It's Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 0, and goalless between St Johnstone and St Mirren, although St Johnstone are down to 10 in that game. In the Scottish Championship, Arbroath 0, Partick Thistle 0. Dundee lead Inverness by 1-0. It's Hamilton 0, Queen's Park 1, so the leaders lead at the break, and it's Morton 0, Cove Rangers 1. In Scottish League 1, Airdrieonians 1, Falkirk 1, Alloa 0, Montrose 0, FC Edinburgh 1, Clyde 0, Peterhead 1, Kelty Hearts 1, Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 1. And in League 2, goalless between Albion Rovers and Annan, and between Bonnyrigg Rose and Stenhouse Muir, the home side down to 10. Dumbarton 1, Elgin 1, Forfar 0, Stirling 0, and Stranraer 1, East Fife 0. Into the Six Nations. Wales, England at 4:45. Into the closing stages of Italy, Ireland. Conor McNamara.
It's now Italy 20, Ireland 34. Another try for Ireland finished off by Mac Hansen, and Ireland have established this big 14-point lead now after the conversion. 7 minutes to go. Just minutes ago, chappers, Italy blew a glorious chance which at the time would have had them drawn level. They had numbers outright. The centre Ignacio chose an elaborate kick to the corner. He should have kept it in hand. Ireland should seal the deal now. Italy 20, Ireland 34.
In the Gallagher Premiership, Saracens 29, Newcastle 13, midway through the second half. 10 minutes into the second half at Northampton, and they lead Gloucester 22-15. In the Premier 15s women's, this is a result. Bristol 59, Worcester 10. Exactly 4 o'clock. Here's Joe Critcher.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Marches and rallies have taken place in County Tyrone in support of a police officer critically wounded by gunmen on Wednesday. 5 people have been arrested in connection with the attack on Detective Chief Inspector John Caldwell in Omagh. Police searching for the actor Mackenzie Crook's sister-in-law have found a woman's body. Laurel Aldridge, who was 62, went missing after leaving her home in West Sussex 11 days ago. And a senior Environment Agency official says there needs to be a massive transformation in food production and distribution in the UK. Some supermarkets have limited the sale of certain fruit and vegetables because of bad weather abroad and high energy costs for British growers.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
And before we go back to the football, let's go to the racing. John Hunt at Kempton.
And the final big race winner of the day here, Mark, is Rubaud, giving Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden, the jockey, a double on the day. Rubaud has just won the Dovecut Novices Hurdle. And a few moments ago, I know most of Newcastle's heading to London this weekend, but going the opposite way, Kitty's Light has won Newcastle's Ida Chase and may well now have a crack at the Midlands Grand National.
Thank you very much, John. Murray Medvedev in the tennis Qatar Open final. Russell Fuller.
Daniel Medvedev leads by 5-3 in this first set, but he had a 4-1 double break advantage at one stage. Murray started lethargically. He has played a lot of long matches this week, but Medvedev's early excellence is fading just a little bit, and Murray is still in the hunt for a first tour title since 2019.
Thank you very much, Russell. If you've been listening since midday, we can play the Guess Where Chris Jones Is from the background sound effects.
Under 45 minutes to kick off, and I'm in the stadium. The fans have started slowly emptying the pubs of Cardiff and making their way into the Principality Stadium. The players underneath us going through the preliminary stages of their warm-ups. What state of mind and of body are those Wales players in after the week they've had? England haven't won here in Cardiff since 2017. Surely this is the time to do it, and they have to if they want to have any say in the destination of the Six Nations title.
Thank you very much. Italy 20, Ireland 34 going into the last 5 minutes, and we will be in Cardiff with Chris and the team for full commentary of Wales against England at the conclusion of the football. Let's head back to the King Power Stadium and join Danny Gabidon and Ian Dennis.
Just to continue the conversation, Mark, from the end of the first half, what was interesting at half-time is that we saw countless replays of the decision why they didn't give the Trossard goal, but we hardly saw any of the replays of the penalty that Danny Gabidon thought that Arsenal could have been awarded.
Kind of sums VAR up, I think, a little bit. Look, I think if that Ben White does what he does to an outfield player, I think that's probably given as a goal.
But it's also treating fans as idiots.
Well,
isn't it? Well, we'll show you one. We'll show you one incident, but we won't show you the other.
Yeah, well, I'm sure match of the day tonight. Is it 10:30 on BBC One? Gary Lineker and the team will show both. and you'll be able to make up your own minds. Anyway, we're back underway, and neither side has made a change. It's still 0-0. Ward is in goal for Leicester City. Castagna, Sutar, Fas and Christensen the defence. Dewsbury Hall and Didi, Pratt, Tete, Barnes and Iheanacho. As Martinelli enters the penalty area, and Martinelli scores! What a start to the second half! Inside 60 seconds, Martinelli rolls the ball into the right-hand side of the net. Leicester City caught cold, but Martinelli has stayed down, and all of a sudden there are no celebrations. The Arsenal players are deeply concerned about Martinelli, but it's Arsenal who lead Leicester by 1-0.
This don't look good. Doesn't look good for Martinelli. Scores the goal. I'm not sure if it's the contact as he slides into the corner, or he's just off balance and he plants his kind of knee down and maybe twists it, but he doesn't look happy. He looks in a lot of pain. But what a start to the second half from Arsenal.
But straight away there is a real deep concern for Martinelli. Every one of the Arsenal players are standing over Martinelli, who took his goal so well, but as he tried to stand up, his legs just seemed to give way after the rolling the ball in.
Yeah, he makes that run in behind. He's played in brilliantly by Trossard, and he just guides it into far corner. And I think it's just a challenge maybe from Ndidi that comes in. I think he actually stands on his leg as he's trying to make the challenge. Gets played in, slides it past the goalkeeper, and it's Ndidi trying to track back there, Deno, and he just almost stands on his knee.
Well, Arsenal are ahead early in the second half. In the meantime, we're going to go to West Ham. John Southall.
West Ham 0, Nottingham Forest 0, but an early chance for West Ham in this second half. Cresswell with the corner, he's on as a sub in the second half. Soufal flick header near post, flashed over the crossbar. West Ham 0, Nottingham Forest 0.
The physios are still tending to Martinelli, who is now sat up inside the Leicester penalty area. Leeds United Southampton, Mas Faruqi.
Still goalless, but Leeds wanted a penalty in the opening seconds of the second half. Bamford went down in the area under a challenge from Bednarat. Peter Banks wasn't interested though, and he's also just had a strike on target at an easy height though for Bazzouni to save it. Still Leeds 0, Southampton 0.
And the Rugby Union, Conor McNamara.
In the closing stages now for Ireland, there's 40 seconds until the clock goes red. Italy 20, Ireland 34, and so many similarities for Italy to their narrow defeat at Twickenham. They've made life very uncomfortable for the world's #1 ranked side, but they just haven't been able to follow it through for the full 80 minutes. Ireland on the way to victory, and the Grand Slam remains on. Italy 20, Ireland 34.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra, and the good news for Gabriel Martinelli is that he's on his feet and he seems to be walking okay.
Yeah, he should be okay. After seeing the replay, it's more of kind of a contact injury rather than a twist. His foot getting caught on the floor, which I thought initially happened. Just Ndidi kind of trying to make the challenge, and he stands on his knee. That will be sore, but should be able to run a brilliant goal from Arsenal, by the way. Trossard pulling out to this left-hand side, a little nutmegs on Suter just to play Martinelli in.
Here is Barnes winning the ball on the edge of the area. Didn't really have the support of the royal blue shirts, as Leicester City in all blue, playing from left to right as we look in this second half, and Arsenal therefore in their red and white tops and white shorts through Martinelli, who gave the thumbs up sign, and then a little brief handshake with Mikel Arteta, is back on the field of play. So Arsenal, the league leaders, are ahead, and it is a deserved lead for Arsenal, as Dewsbury Hall. So Leicester City are certainly going to have to show a lot more ambition than what they showed in the first 45 minutes. 4.5 minutes into this second period, Christensen races forward on that far side, the blonde Danish left back for Leicester. Walsall have got a second at Victoria Park in League Two. Hartlepool United 0, Walsall 2. Christensen down by the corner flag on that far side, and tries to win it back, and only succeeds in prodding the ball behind for a goal kick right in front of referee Craig Pawson.
Yeah, the first occasion Arsenal have kind of got in behind the Leicester defence and on goal. I'm looking at Castagna, just doesn't track the run of Martinelli, just makes that run in behind him down the side of the 18-yard box, and it's a really clever composed finish from Martinelli. Just slides it to the left of Danny Ward into that bottom corner.
Grimsby 1, Leyton Orient 1, so the League Two leaders Leyton Orient have been pegged back at Blundell Park, and there is a goal at Birmingham. Shojo Saka.
Birmingham 0, Luton Town 1. Luton's chance fell to the right guy this time, cross from the left, and there was top scorer Carlton Morris to head down and in. Birmingham 0, Luton 1.
Early in the second half here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, and Arsenal are looking to go 5 points clear ahead of Manchester City's 5:30 game at Bournemouth. They lead by a goal to nil. Martinelli scored early in the second half. I reckon it was about 48 seconds after the restart. Hit forward now by Gabriel, headed away by fast for Leicester City. Xhaka waits for the ball to settle. Dispossessed though by Ndidi. Taking over is Dewsbury Hall. Chips the ball over the top towards Barnes, far side the left. Barnes now running forward. White back pedals. Barnes with a cross. It was a beauty of a ball as well. And Tete sliding in, just couldn't get there. Excellent play by Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, and in particular as well, Dewsbury Hall. He's been the one when they've been able to get him on the ball. He's the one who can pick those passes. Lovely ball out to Harvey Barnes. 1v1 against White. Drives towards that bar line. Great ball across the 6-yard box. And Tete on the stretch can't quite get there. Much better on the counter-attack from Leicester City.
Arsenal have scored the opening goal in 15 games this season. They've won 13 of them and they've drawn 2. Southampton and Brentford are the teams to have taken points off them when they've taken the lead.
Best away record in the Premier League, Arsenal.
Yes, they
scored the most goals, so difficult this for Leicester. Can't say the goal hasn't been coming.
But as we saw at the City ground last week with Nottingham Forest against Manchester City, if a team can stay in a game long enough, you tend just to get that one opportunity, just as almost Leicester had created through Harvey Barnes. Full time in the rugby now, Conor McNamara.
Yes, all over celebration for the Irish fans who've travelled to Rome in huge numbers. Italy 20, Ireland 34. Italy scored 2 tries of their own. They defended like demons. It took until very late for Ireland to seal the victory. This match probably a bit more exciting than Andy Farrell would have wanted, but Ireland's late try put a gleam on it. It felt much closer than the final scoreline suggests, and the Grand Slam remains on for Ireland. Scotland and England still to come. Italy 20, Ireland 34.
Free kick's been taken. Ødegaard into the penalty area. Martinelli shoots low, and it didn't really have the power to trouble Ward.
They're getting behind Arsenal on this left-hand side. Martinelli on this occasion doesn't show the quality. Brendan Rodgers, that's what he would have been happy about the first half. Didn't see a lot of the ball, didn't create too much in an attacking sense, but they kept themselves in the game. You'll be really disappointed with the start to the second half. Switch off for the Martinelli goal.
Missing Maddison as well at Leicester City. Arsenal with Ødegaard. As soon as this game finishes, by the way, we've got Wales-England to come immediately in the Six Nations after news of that Ireland victory in Rome. We'll be with Chris Jones and the team in Cardiff. Jorginho turns the ball back to Saliba. Now finds Gabriel left of the centre circle. Out to Martinelli, the goal scorer. Martinelli waits, goes back towards the halfway line. He plays the ball in between Tete and Iheanacho and finds White, and then Saliba pops the ball across towards Saka on that far side, the right. Saka leaves it. Arsenal, with their vocal support, are leading by a goal to nil, and Leicester City are doing a lot of the chasing as we're into the 10th minute of the second period. And Zinchenko now has got some space to run into on this near side, the left. Chips the ball to Ødegaard. Time for him to have a little glance over his, well, both shoulders in fact, actually, to see the whereabouts of any potential challenges. Cross then comes in from Jorginho. Sliding in with Xhaka to Zinchenko. Back with Xhaka 30 yards out from goal. Now it's with Zinchenko back towards Xhaka. Hits the body of Trossard on the chest. Lays it off. Lovely ball through from Ødegaard. And it's a tap-in. It's a late flag. So Martinelli's cross towards Saka. His 6-yard finish has been ruled out. The intricate football from Arsenal was lovely to watch, but the assistant on the far side has raised his flag. It'll go to VAR.
Yeah, it's beautiful football from Arsenal again in and around Leicester's 18-yard box. I think it's possibly Martinelli as that ball is played through from Ødegaard initially into him, who might be offside. I don't think Saka is. Brilliant play from Martinelli just to play his teammate in for a tap-in. But it's Martinelli, I think, who just goes slightly early. They're just checking it.
And whilst that check is taking place, we'll go to John Southall.
West Ham 0, Forest 0, but West Ham knocking on the door now. Jared Bowen from the edge of the area hit the inside of the left post, and then Paqueta flashed a shot over the bar. West Ham 0, Forest 0.
Goal offside, goal doesn't stand, it remains 1-0. Although we did suspect that would be the case.
I actually thought it might have been Saka who was offside, as he just played it square for him to tap the ball in, but it was actually the initial run of Martinelli.
Leicester meanwhile are attacking. Barnes sent scampering away left hand side, held up by Gabriel, left corner of the penalty area, tried to thread it through, first chance was blocked, comes back towards Harvey Barnes. Gareth Southgate, incidentally, the England manager, is here inside the King Power Stadium today watching this game as Suter hits a long ball forward, trying to get Tete away, making a run in from the right hand side, and it goes all the way through to Aaron Ramsdale. Grimsby Town have come from behind. They lead Leyton Orient, the League Two leaders, now at Blundell Park by 2-1. We'll go to Everton, Will Perry.
Chaos in the Villa box. Everton 0, Villa 0. Iwobi's shot hit Konsa's back, lying on the goal line. He knew nothing about it. Then it came out to Mope. His header cleared off the line by Mings. Everton coming close. Everton 0, Villa 0.
BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service. Saka played in right hand side of the penalty area, wins a corner for Arsenal. Incidentally, Andy Murray has lost the first set in the final of the Qatar Open against Daniel Medvedev 6-4. You can of course track that on the BBC Sport website, and that's the beauty of the BBC Sounds app. You can listen and do all sorts of other things as you listen to our coverage. Here approaching the hour mark with Arsenal the leaders, 1-0 up, corner kick far side the right. The Rugby Union to follow. Wales against England as the corner is taken short on the right hand side. Saka now right corner, plays it in field, cleared up in the air by Pratt, headed back by Jorginho, headed on by Ødegaard. Gabriel has stayed forward, comes to Ødegaard. Ødegaard 25 yards out, does well to pick out Saka in the penalty area. Saka leaves it for Zinchenko. They've got a runner off the ball. Zinchenko uses him a decoy. Good save by Ward. Pushes the ball out towards Martinelli left hand side. Plays it towards Xhaka. Arsenal are certainly creating a lot more opportunities this second half.
Yeah, starting to get in behind. It's becoming a regular occurrence now for Arsenal. Starting to turn the screw.
White, right corner of the area, gets it back in that position. Zinchenko has stayed out on that right side as well, finds Ødegaard. Ødegaard trying to orchestrate this Arsenal side. Leicester City at the minute have everybody back. Here is Zinchenko once again, a diagonal ball floated forward. Xhaka's downward header, the little touch from Martinelli. Xhaka goes inside, Jorginho opens it up to Zinchenko. Zinchenko runs forward, Arsenal playing some lovely football, and then a free kick is given away, and it's a direct free kick, and it's less than 25 yards out from goal.
Yeah,
Castagnet.
Just chasing shadows. At the minute, Leicester really important that they don't concede a second here, just need to get through this difficult period. But the football from Arsenal has been outstanding. Ball played into the feet of Trossard there, and Castagnet just getting too tight, too aggressive, giving the foul away.
Forest Green, who are still yet to win since Duncan Ferguson took charge, drawn 1 and lost 4. They've equalised at home to Lincoln City. Forest Green 1, Lincoln 1 in League One. So this is a free kick to Arsenal and the league leaders, who are already 1-0 up, with a goal early in the second half from Martinelli, who's one of the two players who's standing over it. So it's about, well, it's under 24 yards out from goal. You can tell by the way that the markings of the cut in the grass, and it is left of centre. So you've got Martinelli and Ødegaard. Ødegaard's just glancing over to the dugout area here beneath us. Zinchenko has wandered across almost to the left corner of the area. Leicester have got every royal blue shirt back inside their penalty area. Martinelli and Ødegaard are having a good look at this. We've been playing for an hour here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Martinelli, there's the shrill of the referee's whistle. It is Ødegaard, tries to slide it in low, blocked by the wall, cleared away by Dewsbury Hall, only as far as Saliba. Long looping header back. Souta's header drops to the feet of Ødegaard. Runs out to Zinchenko, midway through the Leicester City half. Now is Jorginho. Jorginho floats the ball out towards Martinelli, backpedaling, lays it off though whilst he's doing so to Zinchenko. Preston have come from behind to lead Wigan by 2-1 at Deepdale in the Championship. Head injury to Xhaka, caught by Ndidi. Free kick to Arsenal once again. Let's get an update from Everton. Will Perry.
Jordan Pickford take a bow. It's still goalless here at Goodison. Cross from the left-hand side from Digne. There was Watkins inside the 6-yard box, looking to make it 5-5. Header into the ground. Brilliant save from Pickford onto the post. 0-0. Everton Villa.
Crawley 1, Carlisle 5, Peterborough 3, Plymouth 1, Mansfield 1, Salford City 4. A latest score in League 2. Xhaka's back on his feet. Free kick for Arsenal. After this free kick, we're going to go straight to Queen's Park Rangers, where there's been a goal in the Championship, but Leicester City, for the best part of this first 16 minutes of this second period, have really been on the back foot. Gillingham 0, Wimbledon 1 is a latest score at Priestfield in League 2. Ødegaard then to take the free kick. A lot of jostling and pushing in that penalty area. Ødegaard swings it over. The header beaten out. It was Gabriel, and Ward just pushed it away. And the flag's up on that far side. So straight to Queen's Park Rangers, a goal, Katie Smith.
And it's not looking good for Gareth Ainsworth. QPR 1, Blackburn 3. Ranko Costello with all the work through 2 men, lays across the face of goal, and Gallagher totally unmarked. Back post, in it goes for second of the game. QPR 1, Blackburn 3.
So Blackburn increasing the misery for Queen's Park Rangers without a win in 10 before Gareth Ainsworth took charge. Pat Murphy's watching West Brom Middlesbrough.
It's still West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 0, but we've had a worrying injury to Paddy McNair, Borough's central defender, down for 7 to 8 minutes, and he's been taken off on a stretcher. Don't know any more than that, but both sets of players were concerned. West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 0.
Thanks, Pat. Tielemans has come on. It's a double change. Tielemans has replaced Tete, and Jamie Vardy has come on for Iheanacho. When actually Iheanacho and Vardy have started together, 34 goals in 37 Premier League games, but it's a replacement on this occasion, although Vardy does like scoring goals against Arsenal. 11 goals in 15. It's the most that he scored against any other opponent.
Yeah, a little surprised he didn't start, actually, with those stats. Brendan Rodgers must have been tempted to start him from the off. He hasn't started too many games this season, Jamie Vardy, but Brendan Rodgers will be hoping introduction of him and Tielemans as well coming into that midfield area can get Leicester going a little bit here.
Ross County 3, Dundee United 0 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Ødegaard, faint sunshine now here at the King Power Stadium on this chilly afternoon, with Arsenal leading by a goal to 0, 63 minutes played. Martinelli to Zinchenko. Certainly they look like they've had that extra man in midfield because of the inverted left back of Zinchenko. So does the Tielemans thing now try and negate that?
Yeah, quite possibly. And even with Trossard playing in that central position, he's someone who wants to come towards the ball as well. So at times they're overloading with 4 players at times in there. So be interesting to see if the shape changes in that midfield of Leicester.
Penalty at Goodison Park, Will Perry.
Everton 0, Villa 0, but a penalty to the visitors after Gay went lunging on McGinn. Here's Ollie Watkins, looking to be the first Villa player to score in 5 consecutive Premier League games. Shrugs his shoulders. Here comes the run-up from Watkins. Brilliant penalty down the middle, and against the run of play, it's Everton 0, Aston Villa 1.
Well, Everton have been excellent at home under Sean Dyche. Aston Villa had lost their last 3, but they've taken the lead. It remains Leeds United 0, Southampton 0, incidentally, at Ellen Road, as the ball is played in early towards Vardy at the near post for Leicester City from Dewsbury Hall on that left-hand side. Arsenal have got the ball away. Leicester City, though, trying to get going and just can't. They're missing Maddison. West Ham Forest also remains goalless, but Peterborough 3, Plymouth 2 is the latest score in League One. Danny Gabidon.
That good little passage of play there from Leicester came from them actually looking to press the ball a bit higher up, and Saliba just played a ball into a dangerous area, and Barnes was able to kind of pick it up. Be interested to see now, obviously with Leicester 1-0 down, will they try and press a little bit higher up the pitch and force those mistakes? Up until this point they've been quite happy to kind of sit off and allow Arsenal to dictate possession. Might see a change in tactic here now from Leicester.
Well, still trailing by a goal to 0. We've got the rugby to come from Cardiff, as Tielemans is putting a little bit of pressure there on Saliba. Saliba goes to ground. Referee Craig Pawson says that's a free kick to Arsenal. West Ham United, of course, in the relegation zone. They're at home to Nottingham Forest. John Southall.
Still goalless, but signs of life from Forest. Brennan Johnson right of the area, couldn't quite get his left foot around it and shot wide of the left-hand post. Substitution being made here for Forest. Ayew's coming on. West Ham 0, Forest 0.
In fact, because of it's so tight down at the bottom, that point in the live league table, if you like, actually sees Bournemouth currently in the bottom three, with Leeds and Southampton ahead of Bournemouth's 5:30 game at home to Manchester City. First half will be on Sports Extra, the second half on 5 Live, after we've brought you Wales, England in the Six Nations. So Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. Leeds Southampton is goalless, as is West Ham, as we've just heard, against Forest, and Arsenal still leading here by 1-0. News of Ross County Dundee United, that basement battle in the Scottish Premiership. Gavin Wallace.
And it goes from bad to worse even for Dundee United. Ross County 3, Dundee United 0. Eamon Brophy with great work down the left hand side. He finds a great ball into the box for Jordan White, and he taps it home. 3-0 now to Ross County.
Blue sky appearing above the King Power Stadium as Saliba digs it out, hits the ball long. Martinelli gives chase. Martinelli gets there before Castagnet enters the penalty area, plays the ball short. Trossard waits. Trossard surrounded by 4 blue shirts, and in the end gave the ball away. Martinelli did ever so well. It was a ball back up towards Trossard. Trossard tussling for it, and Ndidi, and then Fast prods it away. Arsenal win it back. Free kick though for Leicester City. Danny.
Castagnet then again there needs to do better. The minute as a defender that ball's played over the top and you're chasing back to your own goal and it's bouncing in front of you, you know you're going to be in trouble, and Martinelli just nicks in front of him. Nothing comes in the end from the attack. But you just feel Leicester now, they need to go on the front foot a little bit more. It's been too comfortable for Arsenal in this game. They need to start getting after Arsenal, taking a bit more, throwing a bit more caution to the wind.
18 wins from 24 would be the most in Arsenal's history. 17 from 23 is the joint most, going back level with 1932-33 when they won the title under Herbert Chapman. But they lost their next 2 after those 17 wins from 23. Mikel Arteta's side are ahead. Here is Trossard battling for the ball, and Ndidi comes in, and Ndidi, there's a foul in there, and it's gone in favour of Arsenal. Let's go back to Ellen Road. Mas Faruqi.
21 minutes to play here, still goalless. The nerves are ramping up as it continues to be without a goal here. We've had our first caution as well. Stuart Armstrong brought down Nonto. Leeds didn't make the most of the set piece, and Nonto's been subbed for Somerville. Southampton have made a triple sub, but still Leeds 0, Southampton 0.
Arsenal are attacking, leading by 1-0. Ødegaard runs forward, right hand side finds Saka. Saka 6 yards up from the byline, does ever so well towards the byline and gets a corner kick. And Nketiah's going to be coming on before the corner will go to West Ham. John Southall.
Now we have a change of keeper though for West Ham. Lucas Fabianski took a blow to the head. He very groggily went off, looked concussed. Areola on for West Ham. West Ham 0, Forest 0.
Thank you, John. And Nketiah waits, getting his final instructions. So he said at the start of the game he'd started the last 11. It was the best run of his career. Trossard has gone through the middle. Meanwhile, it's the corner kick flicked on by Zinchenko towards the far side of the penalty area. And actually, Gabriel has done well, and he tries to roll away now from Fars, and he doesn't win a corner kick, but he was having his shirt pulled all over the place.
He's halfway off.
It's no longer goalless at West Ham. John Southall.
Listen to the noise. West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Danny Ings with the goal. Bowen on the right hand side. Ings was falling as he hit it, 4 yards out, couldn't miss it. West Ham 1, Forest 0.
Peterborough 4, Plymouth 2 is the latest score in League One. Leandro Trossard in the first half thought he'd scored his second goal for the club, but that was ruled out through VAR, and Eddie Nketiah comes on to replace him. So in the Premier League, it's Everton 0, Aston Villa 1, Leeds United 0, Southampton 0, West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 0, and Arsenal leading here still by 1-0. And West Ham United looking to try and move to 2 points outside of that relegation zone. Sheffield United, of course, are trying to get back into the Premier League with Burnley, who look certainties as Burnley are leading Huddersfield Town by 3-0. Sheffield United, however, they're at home to Watford. Aaron Paul.
And they're piling on the pressure here. Sheffield United 0, Watford 0. The home side have had the ball in the back of the net. John Egan smashing a volley across the face of goal. Jayden Bogle got ahead on it, deflected it into the back of into the net. Offside, said the linesman. It remains 0-0.
Ross County 4, Dundee United 0. What a miserable afternoon for Dundee United. Here's Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, it was a great ball over the top, actually. Dundee United defence all at sea. Ian Eamon Brophy runs onto it, ran about 20-30 yards and blasted it beyond the Dundee United goalkeeper. Ross County 4, Dundee United 0.
Ødegaard running forward, and then just the ball gets caught underneath his feet as he entered the Leicester City penalty area. Bristol City have taken the lead at home to Hull City at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 1, Hull 0. 8 unbeaten. Nigel Pearson's side in the Championship, but it's still got that sense of jeopardy here, despite the fact that Leicester have hardly threatened Arsenal's goal.
Yeah, at 1-0, Arsenal will be keen to get the second goal and really kill this game off. Just looking at Leicester, it almost looks like they've gone to a 4-4-2 now. Tielemans and Ndidi midfield, Pratt on this right hand side and Barnes on the left, and Dewsbury Hall is almost playing that supporting role to Jamie Vardy. So I think he's just trying to get a bit more pressure higher up the field, Brendan Rodgers, and when they do win the ball back, maybe 1 or 2 options more in those attacking areas.
Well, they're seeing the ball, but they're going back. But we are going to go back to West Ham. There's been another goal, John Southall.
And another massive goal for West Ham. West Ham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. And it's Danny Ings again. Ben Rama down the left-hand side. And there was Ings again, 4 yards out to bundle it in. That's what he does. He scores goals. And West Ham lead Forest by 2-0.
Only one win in 11 in the Premier League before today. Whilst we had gone back for news of that second goal, it was Dewsbury Hall who's had a left-footed effort from about 25 yards out. Was probably about, a foot wide?
Yeah, it wasn't too far wide. Certainly had Aaron Ramsdale interested, diving to his right, but again, better from Leicester, more intensity to their game, pressing higher up, winning the ball in a better area in Arsenal's half, and that's where that Dewsbury Hall chance comes from. Got the capabilities, got a fantastic left foot, Dewsbury Hall, not too far away.
Reading 2, Blackpool 0. It'll be 1 win in 17 for Blackpool, now managed of course by Mick McCarthy. Doncaster Rovers 0, Bradford City 1 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date with the goals that go in on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. 17 minutes remain and the brightening skies here at Leicester. Ball played forward by Pratt, cut out though by Gabriel, and Nketiah, nice touch away from Suter, couldn't squeeze it into the path of Martinelli. Fast gets there, ball now with Castagnet, battling for it on this near side to find Tielemans. Our featured game is in League 2, it's at Broadhall Way, and there's a penalty. Jonathan Ledyard.
Tranmere Rovers looking to take the lead against second place Stevenage. Remember, Leyton Orient losing the leaders, and likewise Carlisle doing well. Josh Hawke scores in the corner, beats Toby Savin, and Tranmere Rovers, without an away win in almost 4 months, lead Stevenage by 1-0.
Stevenage having a little bit of a blip at the minute, no win in 4 before today. Conscious that the rugby's coming up as well, so I'm going to rattle through the scores. There's no sports report. We've got the rugby coming up with Chris Jones and the team of the Six Nations, Wales, England. So these are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen lead Livingston by 1-0. Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 0. Ross County 4, Dundee United 0. And it's St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 0. St Johnstone are down to 10 men. I'll give you League 2, League 1 and the Championship when we can. And in fact, I can rattle through League 2 now because it's Jorginho who's gone down in a challenge from Dewsbury Hall. So latest scores in League 2. Barrow leads Stockport County by 1-0. Dave Challonor's side had won their last 5. Colchester United 0, Northampton 1. Crawley 1, Carlisle 5. Crewe and Rochdale remains goalless at Gresty Road. Doncaster 0, Bradford City 1. Gillingham 1, Wimbledon 1. Grimsby 2, Leyton Orient, the leaders 2. Leyton Orient have got an equaliser there through George Moncur. Hartlepool 1, Walsall 3. Mansfield 1, Salford 4. Newport 0, Sutton United 2. Stevenage 0, Tranmere 1, as we've just heard from Jonathan. And Swindon Town still lead Harrogate Town by 1-0. Another goal at Turf Moor. Lee Blakeman.
It's all over now. Burnley 4, Huddersfield 0. Michael Obafemi on as a sub, struck it well. well. 10 yards out. Burnley 4 clear at Huddersfield.
Daka's going to be coming on. Sumari's going to be coming on for Leicester City. This is going to be another double change made by Brendan Rodgers as his side trail by 1-0 with a quarter of an hour remaining on BBC Radio 5 Live. Christensen wins the ball, back heels it then towards Ndidi, finds Tielemans forward, the little layoff by Vardy didn't quite come off, he was looking towards Harvey Barnes. Let's get the team news from John Akers watching Bournemouth Manchester City.
4 changes from the game against Forest for City. Laporte, Walker, Silva and KDB out, although he is on the bench after injury. In come Akanji, 18-year-old Lewis, Ake and Alvarez. We think 4-4-2 with Alvarez and Haaland up the top. And Bournemouth 1 change, Meppen in for Tavernier, who's a big miss.
Yeah, De Bruyne didn't play in midweek in Leipzig, and Guardiola did say through illness that he would be a doubt for today, so not necessarily surprised to see him only on the bench, as Manchester City might be starting that game 5 points behind Arsenal. Gillingham 2, Wimbledon 1, Reading 3, Blackpool 0, and they are the latest goals that have gone in around the country, as that weak sunshine is directed on the Arsenal supporters, who break out into voice yet again as Pratt comes forward, and that ball is going to be intercepted by Martinelli. And in the crunch game down at the bottom, it is no longer goalless. There's been a goal at Ellen Road. Mazfarouki.
And the noise will tell you which way it's gone here, Ian. Leeds 1, Southampton 0. Firpo for the shot that went through Bazunu, 8 yards or so out from the left of the area. What a huge goal at the bottom of the table. Leeds 1, Southampton 0.
And another goal, it's at West Ham, John Southall.
There's no stopping them now. West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Brilliant from Declan Rice on the left edge of the penalty area. He asked for it, he got it, and he curled it into the top right hand corner. West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 0.
So Daka has come on to replace Dennis Pratt, and Ndidi has come off, and that will be Soumare who has come on to replace him like for like in midfield. So now you're going to have Daka and Vardy for the closing 13 minutes.
Yeah, Dewsbury Hall now just playing just behind. Better from Leicester though, more positive out of possession, looking to get after Arsenal. Arsenal not keeping the ball as well as they'd done before the changes. Haven't created too much though. Leicester still looking for that kind of clear-cut chance.
The 10 men of St Johnstone lead St Mirren by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership, and at Sheffield United there's been a goal. Aaron Paul.
Deadlock broken. It's the home side who have the lead. Sheffield United 1, Watford 0. Ollie McBurney's header at the back post deflected into his own net by Ryan Porteous. United 1, Watford 0.
The League Cup final tomorrow is live on BBC Radio 5 Live at 4:30. Next Tuesday and Wednesday it's FA Cup 5th round action, Fulham Leeds United, and then we're at the Blaine on Wednesday actually for Sheffield United against Tottenham. But in the Premier League, West Ham, much needed win, leading Nottingham Forest 3-0. Leeds United, who haven't won since the 5th of November, are 1-0 up against Southampton, and it's Everton 0, Aston Villa 1, and we've got the rugby to come with Chris Jones.
Well, 2 years ago, Deno, this game was behind closed doors. We've got the full Wales against England experience today. The band, the choir, the pomp, the ceremony. A game both sides need to win and dare not lose. What are we, 10 minutes away?
Bright sunshine now here. We'll keep you regularly in touch before we hand to the commentary of that game in Cardiff. So, giving you the League 2 latest scores. Here's the League 1. The result earlier was Oxford 0, Bristol Rovers 3. Latest scores: Barnsley 3, Derby 1, Bolton 2, Port Vale 1, Burton 0, Accrington 0, Charlton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Exeter 2, Cambridge 0, Fleetwood lead Morecambe by 1-0. Throw towards Martinelli, right hand side, able to turn, plays it back out, and Arsenal still have the ball. We've got about just over 10 minutes remaining. Exeter 2, Cambridge 0, Fleetwood 1, Morecambe 0. That's where I was up to. Forest Green 1, Lincoln 1, MK Dons 0, Ipswich 1, Peterborough 4, second place Plymouth 2. It means that Sheffield Wednesday will be going 3 points clear tonight as it stands. Portsmouth 3, Cheltenham 0, Shrewsbury 1, Wickham 0. What's happened over on that far side?
Yeah, Jorginho's gone down. He's just got the ball played in his feet. He's looking to turn away. He's under pressure from 2 Leicester players. Dewsbury Hall from the one side tries to turn back out the other side. I think Vardy comes in with the challenge. Jorginho's kind of half going to ground, and I think his head just collides with Jamie Vardy around that kind of knee area. A little bit of the arm from Vardy as well.
it was robust, but there was no malice in there from Vardy.
I don't think so.
10 minutes remaining. Danny Gabidon, the former Cardiff, West Ham and Crystal Palace defender, and of course Wales for the time being, was still speaking.
It's better from Leicester, more intent. I thought I might have seen this from the start of the game. I thought they were very respectful of this Arsenal team in the first half, and rightly so. You can understand that. They're a fantastic football team, Arsenal, are doing really well, but I thought we might have seen a little bit more of this from Leicester right from the get-go.
Yeah, hasn't necessarily been as a tougher contest than many people may have imagined, but there is still time for it to change. Dewsbury Hall running forward and running into space on that far side, the left. Dewsbury Hall with the cross, too far ahead of Castagne. Latest scores then in the Championship. Well, the early result was Coventry City 2, Sunderland 1. Birmingham, these are the latest scores. Birmingham 0, Luton Town 1. Bristol City 1, Hull City 0. Bristol City looking to go 9 unbeaten. Burnley 4, Huddersfield Town 0. That will extend their unbeaten run to 14 games. Norwich 2, Cardiff 0. Preston 2, Wigan 1. They've come from behind. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Blackburn 3. Reading 3, Blackpool 0. Sheffield United 1, Watford 0. Stoke 0, Millwall 1. West Bromwich Albion lead Middlesbrough by 2 goals to 0. And Jorginho is down again, just outside the D of his own penalty area. So a stoppage in play. It means we'll go to Goodison Park and Will Perry.
Everton 0, Villa 1. Sims and Gray off the Everton bench. Sims hooked an effort over the Villa bar. Watkins has tested Pickford down the other end from 30 yards, and Louise firing narrowly over as well. Everton 0, Villa 1.
By the way, if we are to hand to the rugby before full time here, use the BBC Sounds app. This is where it comes into its own, because then quickly redial, find the World Service, because the commentary will continue on the World Service. We haven't had that call just yet that we're going to go to the rugby, because it is still tight here with 8 minutes remaining, but that remains a possibility. Sheffield United against Watford, we're giving you that score. There are no other latest scores to give you with 8 minutes remaining, apart from this one. It's just gone in. Goodison Park, Will Perry.
This looks like game, set and match with 9 minutes to play at Goodison. Everton 0, Aston Villa 2. Goodison silence, and it's the substitute Emi Buendia from tight angle, smashing past Pickford. Everton 0, Villa 2.
And with that, the bottom three read Southampton, Bournemouth and Everton, because Leeds United are a point ahead of Everton, because they are leading Southampton by a goal to 0. Jorginho is waiting to come back onto the field of play. Peterborough 5, Plymouth 2 now is a latest score at London Road. Partey is looking to come on for Arsenal, looking to try and make this change. 7 minutes remaining. The rugby coming up, Wales, England in the Six Nations. Let's get an update from the Valley. Flo Pollock.
0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, but Charlton have rallied in this second half and had a number of chances. They've not been able to make one tell though. Charlton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Changes being made, and Thomas Partey is coming on, and it's Ødegaard is the player who's is going off. Danny.
Yeah, the Arsenal analyst, I think it is to my right, doesn't seem too happy with that decision. Just looks like maybe Arsenal looking to sit on the 1-0 and just shore this up. Partey coming on, going to probably sit alongside Jorginho there.
They've got 6 minutes to try and shore things up. There's been another goal meanwhile at West Ham. John Southall.
And another for West Ham. West Ham 4, Nottingham Forest 0. Michael Antonio on as a sub. First touch of the ball at the back post, headed in, too easy. West Ham 4, Nottingham Forest 0.
Nottingham Forest, their away form is a concern. They've only scored 3 goals away from home. Mind you, it's been a while since they've been trounced like that on their travels, isn't it? I know they took a hiding here, didn't they?
Yeah, you look at Forest's start of the season, and those were the kind of results that they were getting, and then Steve Cooper made a few tactical changes and shored them up really into this point, been getting some good results, so I'd be disappointed with that result this afternoon.
So Everton 0, Aston Villa 2, Leeds United 1, Southampton 0, West Ham United 4, Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth, Manchester City to come. First half on Sports Extra, second half on 5 Live, but with 5 minutes remaining, Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. That Martinelli goal early, well, within the first minute of the second half, and a change is going to be made by Leicester. It's going to be their final change that they can make, and as that change happens and Castagne is coming off and Ricardo is coming on, we will go back to Mas Faruqi at Ellen Road.
Southampton 0. Mark Rocker's come on for Patrick Bamford as Leeds try to hold on to this slender lead, which at the moment they are doing so. Leeds 1, Southampton 0.
Ricardo's had a dreadful time of injury. He did make the last 2 minutes against Tottenham for his first appearance of the season. So Ricardo is on for Leicester City. Doesn't appear to be any immediate threat though to the Arsenal goal.
Not really, but Arsenal finding it more difficult now. They've actually had to do less defending, Leicester, since they've gone a bit more expansive and thrown a bit more caution to the wind, but not being able to create that kind of clear-cut chance.
4 minutes remain of normal time. Arsenal have been awarded a free kick just outside the centre circle of the Leicester half. Leicester City's best probably opportunity, what was it, that Dewsbury Hall effort from 25 yards out?
Yeah, it was nothing more than a half chance really, but they've had more of the ball. I thought maybe going a bit more expansive, it might suit Arsenal. They might exploit the spaces and get the second goal, but that hasn't really happened. It's been Leicester seeing a bit more of the ball, but just not being able to fashion a chance. Arsenal are still controlling the game pretty good now out of possession. First half was very much controlling the game with the ball.
Whilst there's a stoppage in play, we'll nip to Burnley. Lee Blakeman.
4-0 Burnley, heading towards making it 14 unbeaten. Barnes, Roberts and Brownhill did the damage in the first half. Obafemi got one a few moments to go in the second. Huddersfield have been all over the place. Burnley 4, Huddersfield 0.
Jorginho gives it to Partey. Hit that quite hard and high back at Saliba, who did well to control it. Returned it to Ramsdale. Good feet to chip it out to Zinchenko. Heads it forward to Xhaka. Short of the halfway line to Martinelli, the goal scorer. That was a late challenge on Xhaka. Mikel Arteta. Been a number of stoppages in this second half, hasn't there? Doesn't seem to have had much flow of the game in this second
particularly
period.
the last kind of 10-15 minutes where the intensity has kind of gone up from Leicester City, and they're looking to kind of get around Arsenal and make challenges, which we didn't see particularly in the first half. And clumsy one there from Daka's. Jack's just looking to hook the ball around the corner, and he just stands on the back of his Achilles there. Saw one.
3 latest scores in League Two. Crawley 2, Carlisle 5. Crawley have got a goal back. Rochdale have equalised at Crewe. It's Crewe 1, Rochdale 1, and Salford have rattled in a fifth. Mansfield 1, Salford 5. Tielemans is now down here at the King Power Stadium, and they're about to get underway in Wales. Chris Jones.
Well, it was in the balance in the week with the Wales players threatening strike action, but we are ready to go. England all in white, Wales in their red tops. Owen Williams just waits for the signal from the referee, who looks to the sidelines. Williams bounced the ball a few times, and here we go. We are underway at the Principality Stadium as Owen Williams' kick is taken in by Alex Dombrad, who sets it up just short of the 22.
And we'll be with you very, very soon, Chris. Chris is joined by Matt Dawson and Tom Shanklin. As Tielemans has come off the field of play, they've actually used their 5 substitutes.
Yeah, it just looks like he's stretching his calf off there. It doesn't look happy. Not sure if he's pulled something there, possibly. I think he might try and come back on.
Swindon 3, Harrogate 0. St Mirren have got an equaliser at St Johnstone's at McDermott Park. St Johnstone 1, St Mirren 1. Tielemans waits to come back on. We're inside the last 2 minutes of normal time, and the Arsenal fans are celebrating in the sunshine in that corner as the ball is hit up in the air towards Martinelli. Rides down the back of his number 11 shirt. Loses out, cleared away by Suter. Headed back then by Gabriel, out of play. It then goes for a throw to Leicester City that Ricardo wants to take quickly. 90 seconds of normal time remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Suter hits it forward. Cushion header goes out of play by Gabriel. Arteta still pointing, almost getting in the way of Ricardo. Lifted downfield by Tielemans, who's back on the field of play. Xhaka turns away from Tielemans on the halfway line. Forward ball to Martinelli, tries to open it up towards Saka. White's coming on the overlap. There was another late challenge there on Martinelli, who's gone down. Play continues meanwhile. Martinelli's now back on his feet. That's the amusement of the Leicester City supporters. Arsenal still have the ball 30 yards out from goal. Partey to Jorginho. Jorginho will win a throw for Arsenal. All about game management now.
I think that's what's happening from an Arsenal point of view. Any kind of challenge on an Arsenal player and they're looking to go down. Jorginho a couple of times, Martinelli, as he played that ball wide. Yes, he was caught. There was a bit of contact, but no need to be rolling around on the floor there, and then quickly gets up straight after.
Well, they had that 8-point lead over Manchester City in mid-January. And after Manchester City won at the Emirates, they went back top. But Arsenal are trying to re-establish a healthy advantage, and it could be going back up to 5 points. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, boy, it's tight. Will Perry's at Goodison.
We're into the last minute here at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Aston Villa 2, and Everton have a free kick just outside the box. Damari Gray. It was a foul by Emi Buendia. Gray's going to strike this one. Everton have to try and get something back. Here he comes, right-footed. It's straight at Martinez. It's still Everton 0, Villa 2.
The results as they stand mean that Everton are in the bottom 3. We're into 5 minutes of added on time here at the King Power. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1. There was a late twist at the City Ground last week when Manchester City were pegged back by Forest. Will the East Midlands conjure up something similar here at the King Power? Or will Arsenal go on and go 5 points clear as Partey is dispossessed in the midfield? And Daka plays it forward to Dewsbury Hall, drifts out, Saka tries to come back at him. Dewsbury Hall makes good ground, running away from 2 Arsenal players, delivers the cross, drops to the edge of the area, Martinelli heads it away. No foul on Saka. Suter. Every Leicester player is now in the Arsenal half in stoppage time. Soumare chips the ball out towards that left-hand side. It was an inviting ball to be attacked by the header by White. Saka can't keep the ball in play. It'll be a Leicester throw over on that far side. Hartlepool 2, Walsall 3 is the latest score in League 2. And in League 1, Shrewsbury lead Wickham by 2-0. Not the start that Matt Bloomfield would have wanted after replacing Gareth Ainsworth. Wickham, who had won their last 5 before Ainsworth departed to Queen's Park Rangers. They're going to make a change as well in this stoppage time. Arsenal, they're going to be bringing on Tomiyasu. Defensive reinforcements as they try to see out 3 precious points as the ball goes in towards the penalty area. On the stretch, Vardy heads it into the path of Barnes. Barnes turns out of the penalty area, goes out of play. Almost makes a mockery of the 90 minutes that have preceded this, because Arsenal's defence haven't come under any sustained pressure.
No, they haven't. It has been better from Leicester in the last kind of 20 minutes since Brendan Rodgers has tweaked the system a little bit and brought personnel on, but still, Arsenal showing the resilience, the defensive side of their game in the last 15-20 minutes. They've been able to keep Leicester really at arm's length. It's had nothing to do with Ramsdale in the Arsenal goal.
Tomiyasu is going to replace Zinchenko. We're going to get an update with Chris Jones in Cardiff.
Plenty going on already, Ian. Could have been the game's first try for Wales when Faletau charged down Farrell. Freddie Stewart to the rescue. England, though, pressing. Stewart on the counter-attack. 0-0 after 4.
We'll be with you very soon for commentary here on 5 Live. What a fight back by Hartlepool under John Askey as their new manager. Hartlepool 3, Walsall 3 in League 2. We have just over 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Arsenal leading by 1-0. Looking to build on that dramatic victory, of course, last week against Aston Villa. Their first win in 5 in all competitions. As the ball goes long over on that right-hand side. And Partey running forward, looking for the cross. Takes a deflection. That could have gone anywhere. As it is, with Ward coming off his goal line, it runs to the right of the goal as we look for an Arsenal corner kick.
Yeah, it comes from a Leicester throw out the field. They're not able to work the ball in the box. Then Arsenal go back on the counter-attack. Partey driving down that far right-hand side. He's just looking to find Nketiah on the far post, and Suter just diving in the way of that cross. Could have gone anywhere. Out for the corner.
It used to be, of course, a familiar scoreline, 1-0 to the Arsenal. They will certainly take it here at Leicester City this afternoon with just over 60 seconds remaining. Corner kick on that right-hand side taken short and then given away to Leicester City. Cleared long by Fast. Barnes can't hold on to it. Daka, though, has it. And in fact, there was a bit of holding there, and there'll be a free kick to Arsenal midway through the Leicester half. We're going to be going straight to the rugby on the final whistle. So what are your closing thoughts, Danny Gavidon?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this Arsenal team and their proper football side now. All the ingredients to win this Premier League for me, not just the football that they play, the individuals that they have, the progress of the young players, but the work off the ball, the team spirit, the togetherness. They have all the ingredients for me to be there or thereabouts end of the season.
The best away record in the Premier League may well produce another 3 points here, unless something in the next 40 seconds will change the scoreline of Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1, Mansfield 2, Salford 5. Just another consolation for Nigel Clough's side at Mansfield. Leicester have been awarded a throw. Far side the left. This surely has got to be it. We're inside the last 30 seconds by my watch, and the league leaders are close to going 5 points clear. Christensen with a throw on that left-hand side. Vardy tries to get on the end of it. Saka hooks it away to safety. Bouncing ball on the halfway line. And Nketiah loses out to Fast. Plays it short and forward. By my watch, the 5 minutes are now up. Leicester City, final chance. Out towards Ricardo. Doesn't beat the first man. Strikes the back of Martinelli. Suter hits it long. Christensen comes forward. Headed away well by White. Arsenal defending very, very well. Ball fired back in. Strikes the body of White. Clearance now by Partey. Looking for the release of Nketiah. All eyes on the referee. Fast dives in and wins that challenge against Suter. 5.5 minutes played. But there is the final whistle. Arsenal's best away record in the Premier League continues. They are the team to beat, and for the first time in their history, 18 wins from 24. It's the most in the club's history. They're 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. It's finished Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1. We're going now to the rugby in the company of Matt Dawson, Tom Shanklin and Chris Jones.